Hey everyone,
Hey guys.
Miss Menezes. Hey Marcos.
Hey.
Welcome to One Mic Night Talk. We're on every Tuesday, every Thursdays at 8 p.m. through YouTube. Live. Share, as we always say.
Please share.
Marcos, please introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of OneMicNite Talk. We are so excited that you're here with us and you've been along with us through this whole journey. First of all, Ashley can't be with us on this episode, but you know we still got a lot to talk about because I've got opinionated Liz over there.
Opinionated and ready.
And we're
opinionated
ready today.
And ready. You know, something that I've been thinking about, Marcos, is consistency, reliability, that we place on ourselves and we also place on others.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about that? Have you been experiencing that?
I have. I think that, you know, I try this now more than ever with the things that I do is to be consistent. Because I feel like once you start being consistent with what you do, you start to see the results. Because people need some sort of expectation as to when things will happen. And so once you're consistent with what you do, people become a lot more in line with what you do. There's a lot more alignment.
You said something that kind of, you know, expectations, I mean, can be a good thing, but they can also serve as disappointment.
Absolutely.
Because depending on the type of environment or relationship or situation for that matter, you know, we can set an expectation on someone or something. And when we get less than expected, we get upset. So do you think it's realistic to set expectations?
I think I don't know if it's realistic. It is realistic. I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. It sort of depends on what it is. Like you said, if it's a person, if you're in a relationship or you're dating or, you know, something like that, you're always let down. You could be let down because there's inconsistency in who we are as people.
Of course.
But if you're talking about, say like for you with music, the consistency of getting up every day, writing a song, or putting yourself in an environment where you feel inspired. You know, I think that is something that's important.
In and of itself, Marcos, as you know, because that's an art, songwriting, singing, acting is an art, you know, and just waking up, expecting to wake up with inspiration for whatever art form you do is a little bit stressing.
It is.
Because when that happens, you put more pressure on yourself. And as a songwriter, I'm going to use me as an example. As a songwriter, when I put pressure on myself, I go through writer's block.
Yes.
And once I enter that space of writer's block, that could have a longevity to itself that is frustrating. And you begin to doubt yourself. What happens then, Marcos?
Right.
What if you begin to doubt yourself because of expectation?
Well, I mean, I think along with that has to come some introspection, you know, and you know, you think all the knowledge that I have is there. I have all the tools that I need to make this happen. But what is going to inspire me to write the next song? Or what is going to inspire me to build this character that I'm working on in my acting? Or if for anybody who's out there, you know, when you go into your office and you have a project to create in advertising, what's going to inspire you to, you know, be prolific in your job situation? So you have to put your mind in that mind frame, in that mindset, you know, to be environment. Maybe it's a physical, physical.
Something that that brought to mind last night, I was just, you know, I was having one of those sleepless nights as I always do. And I was on YouTube and I was looking at the unexpected beauty. So this had to do with models, right? And you know, we all expect a model to be perfection and to be, you know, everything is symmetrical, everything is, you know, seamless. And these models, you would never think they were models. Like if you see them on a day-to-day, you're like, oh, they could never be, you know? But then like, it's like the lens loves them and they become this wow, you know, that you would never think. So that brings me, the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel that imperfection has its perfections.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you know?
Yes.
Like, I don't think everything is totally imperfect. Like, if we look at something that we would deem imperfect through our eyes, through the eyes of the beholder, if you really spend some time with it and you live with it and you see it day in and day out, you start to begin to see the beauty of it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then this brings me to what's going on in the world right now. We're expecting COVID to disappear. We're expecting the war to stop in Ukraine. We're hopeful.
Right.
But what if none of this happens? How would you feel? You know, being part of this thing we called planet Earth.
Right.
Would you want to move to another planet?
Right. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we know, just the intelligence side of us knows that COVID's never going to disappear. We're now living in, like everybody says, the new normal. So it's how do we adapt? How do we transform into something that's functional again? We're never going back to the way New York was. You know, for those of you listening, this podcast is filmed in New York. We're never going back to the way New York was. You know, we have to start from here and start making a new normal way of life.
Oh my God, but wait, Marcos, I'm sorry to cut you off, but as you're talking, all these things are coming to mind. And I'm thinking about situations like Jada and Will, like Wendy Williams' show, like what else? I'm just trying to think of situations, but all of these two scenarios, let's take these two, they're never going to be back to normal.
Right.
Like we're seeing Will and Jada. Will went to some where is he, in India or where is
India,
he?
Vacation, Dubai, somewhere. Yeah.
He's somewhere in the mountains right now. Right. He's never going to be the same. His life has forever changed. Look at Johnny Depp in the trial that he's in.
Right.
With his, is she his ex-wife or wife still? I think she's his ex.
I don't even know. Yeah.
I don't even know. But that's never going to be the same.
Right.
I mean, you know, his role as his prolific role as that pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean, that was taken away. They don't want him.
They don't want him anymore. Yeah.
You know, forever changed.
Right.
So, like, what I'm trying to get at, and I'm all over the place today, people. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Bring it on home. Bring it on home.
Like, you know, our decisions have the power to change our lives forever. But what if that power, that decision-making power, was in the hands of somebody else, of a country leader, of your wife or your husband, of your family member?
Right.
Would you want that much power in somebody else that they could actually destroy your life? How would you feel about that? Should we become overly protective of self?
Right. I think we should. I mean, but we are the free thinking, free world, free mind.
Free.
And I'm going to go.
Dude, are we
no,
really
seriously,
free?
we are. We're freer than most. Think about this. You just touched on something. Like right now in China, they're on lockdown in certain parts of China. Now imagine again going on lockdown and not having control over anything. You have no control over whether you can go out, whether your business will continue. You're living, you know, by what the government gives you, the rations, you know, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Oh my God. You know,
can you imagine?
I can't even fathom that thought.
Right.
Because I'm so like big on not being controlled.
Right.
I'm so big on that. Like, I don't like people to tell me, you got to do this, you got to do it. I will not do it.
Right.
You lay off of telling me do it, I'll do it. I work like the opposite way. I'm sure a lot of people work this way, but could you imagine? You mentioned this lockdown in China, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They're actually putting up like fences in front of buildings, you know, domiciles, so that people won't get even out of the building.
Right.
How can you do, like, and you have people like really flipping out, and they have drones flying in the town saying, you know, control your urge to want to be free. Control your urge.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess, you know, what do you think the thought is of the country? It's at the, you know, it's for the benefit of the people, for the masses, you know, because you don't want this disease, you know, spreading out of control, killing mass number of people because one, it's invisible, so you can't see it. So you're trying to control a population so this doesn't happen.
I mean, I think that there was a level of control from their government before the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. I think that there was a level of control. I'm not well versed on their laws, etc. So I'm not really going to go into deep discussion about that. But I do believe that they had a level of like cloud hanging over them that they're not completely totally free to do,
Right.
And if you want to talk about control, I mean, the pandemic's been controlling the government and the people. So look at that.
Right.
It's not the government per se, but it's actually an illness, that's actually controlling the government.
Epidemic or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, right? Let's call it right. The pandemic. It's actually controlling the people, and it's actually controlling the government, because the government is doing what the pandemic is causing them to do.
Right.
They're not willfully saying, "Oh, we're going to block you."
So then this almost becomes a loop, because isn't it the job of the government to do what's best for the people?
Right. That's a double-edged sword, right?
Exactly. So that's the thought pattern. I mean, here in the United States, we elect our officials to, oversee the government and oversee the laws and make the laws based on what the people want. Right. Whether or not it actually happens, that's something different. But isn't it the job of the government? Like, we listened to the mayor at the time when New York's numbers were out of control, and he was the one that declared when the city was being locked down. And then the governor declared when the city was going to be locked down and things would reopen, and how business would be administered. It's their job to protect the people. So maybe in effect, that's what China claims they're doing. They're
I like
protecting
the
people.
Use.
Yeah. Claims. Yeah. Now, so we don't know. I mean, is that what's happening?
Oof. I don't want to speak for civilians here or abroad, but I'll speak for what was going on here, right? With the mayor, etc. A group of people might feel like, I actually don't want you to do that. And some people may feel like, yeah, do it.
Right.
Which is what the world has always been like. You're always going to have naysayers. You're always going to have people that agree. But who are the people that are the middle ground?
Right.
Where does actually the real law lie?
Right. Well, it should, here in the States, it should lie with the majority. If the majority of people want to be protected and the majority of people want laws passed, that's what happens. So, that's where we, the whole democracy comes in effect. China, which is, I guess, is it socialist or dictatorship? I'm not sure what they are.
So I think it's socialist.
Yeah. So they are also doing things for the masses. So you have the majority of the people, so everybody gets at least the same across the board. Same treatment. You have healthcare. You have,
If I laugh, I think the laughing part is something.
We're talking about a hypothetical situation.
Thank you for sticking that word in there. Hypothetical, yes. Hypothetically.
So that's what's supposed to be happening there.
Supposedly,
allegedly.
Allegedly. Yes, let's go down to the word. Allegedly.
So.
I mean, those are tricky. We're entering tricky waters.
Tricky territory, right? So then let me. So this actually relates to that. So is it more so a place like that? Is it the ego of the government?
Yes. Yes.
I
think that. Oh my God! I'm sorry. Finish.
No, that's it. That's the question. That's the question.
I mean, I think ego runs rapid rapid, and it has a forefront, and shall we say it's the president or the dictator or the leader,
prime minister, or whatever it is. Yes,
whatever you want to call it, wherever you are, ego is number one. I think it's number one in government. I think it's number one in groups. I think it's number one in every area of life. I think that, your ego speaks first.
Right.
Some people feel.
How do we deal with egos? Let's talk about egos for a minute. I don't mean necessarily with countries. I mean like you were saying, in situations with friends, in the workplace. How do we deal with egos? Ego is a nasty monster. It rears its ugly head.
I mean, I think that for me, I've had to have patience, a lot of patience with people that lead with ego.
Right.
Because let's say if you're good at what you do, good at whatever it is that you set forth before you, even if you're good, if your ego has a nasty connotation to it, I'm not going to want to hear you. I'm not going to want your service. I'm not going to want you around me. I'm not going to want you around. It's just and it leads back to, what are you surrounding yourself with? As the saying goes, tell me who you surround yourself and I will tell you who you are.
You think people with ego surround themselves with anybody? I mean, do they have friends? Do they have people?
Well, they think they do. They believe they do.
Right.
And they hold on to those that give them the praise that they so need.
Right.
People with egos need praise. It feeds ego.
Right.
People with ego need praise. And if they don't get the praise, they go ahead and exhibit the nastiness that's within them. Linking it back to what we're discussing, there's where you see wars, there's where you see famine, that's where you see blah, 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 whatever. And then bringing it back again to us, I feel that that's where a lot of breakdown in communication happens. A lot of, failed relationships happen. A lot of stagnant areas in life happen because we have to let the ego go and let's work together.
Exactly. Do you think it's a sign of weakness if you succumb to somebody's ego? Or
succumbing, or if I have it, or I'm succumbing?
If you're succumbing to it, if you just yes to the person with the ego.
Yeah, I do think it's
step out of their way.
It's a form of weakness. It is a form of weakness, because if we are investing our energy in someone who's belittling our energy, then we're depending on them. It's like we're a leech onto them.
Right.
I don't want to be a leech onto anybody. I want to stand, and if people want to walk with me, let's walk together. I leeching off of somebody else, you're always going to be in the shadow of that person. Do you want to be the shadow of someone? Right. Do you, Marcos, want to be
Absolutely
the shadow
not.
of anyone?
Absolutely not. I mean, I think there are times when you do it if you're getting something else out of it that's valuable. I think that you have to decide for yourself what it is, and know that you're valuable too, but what you're getting from the situation is very valuable in a way. And then when you reach a point where it's no longer valuable to you, then you can decide what you need to do.
Question: have you ever found yourself becoming that without knowing?
Becoming the weak person in a situation with an ego? Absolutely. And was very conscious of it as well. But like I said, when you're getting something else valuable out of it, you then determine at what point you no longer want to be a part of it, and you let it go. So I think, while you're in the I don't even know, vicinity, in the realm, and the of someone who has the ego problem, right, you have to monitor how much you'll take, what your threshold is for it. And then when you're ready to depart the situation, you let it go.
What do you think is a good way of determining, okay, you know what, my cup is full and I don't like what my cup is full of.
Right.
How do you think you can determine that?
I think there are different ways. I think that you reach the tipping point, or if something is said or done that you no longer approve of, and you finally say, hey, this is where I draw the line, and then you
well, have you lost people because you've said, I've had enough of this?
Sure, you lose people.
You
lose
do,
people.
right?
You absolutely do. And you have to evaluate how valuable were they, in what capacities were they valuable in your life? How did they serve your purpose? I think we all, in any kind of relationship that you have with someone is serving a purpose.
So wait a minute. So would you say that in some capacity, we're all using each other?
We are.
We're using each other.
I would absolutely agree. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, right.
Not necessarily for evil, not necessarily for bad.
Right. That was going to be the second
Yeah.
half of my question right now.
But who's also to determine what it is? Who's also to determine what's nasty, what's mean, what's...
Well, who would you say would determine that?
Well, I mean, you are. You determine, but what about the other person in the relationship that you're with, or the other group setting that you're with? It's different to each person. It's an individual situation.
Interesting.
So
I mean, would you say that these things can lead to abusive situations?
Absolutely. I think people with egos are abusive.
Yeah.
They are abusive.
I think so too.
I think one thing, just on my own behalf, one thing that I practice is humility. And I know that you do the same thing.
Yeah, I try my best.
Absolutely.
I try my best, I don't want people walking away from me with a sour taste in their mouth. I want people to feel comfortable, people to talk to me, I'll listen. I'm not saying I know all the answers. I'm not a guru,
right.
But I could help you sort out your thoughts, and help you, kind of like decipher what's going on, what is going on,
right.
So I think that the human condition is complex. I think that the human it's very complex, and what's good for me might not be good for you, and what's good for me might be good for me. What's good for you might be good for me. And I think that aside from ego, I think that jealousy also has a big part.
It sure does. It sure does.
With a lot of things that happen all across the board.
Yeah.
I want what you want and you want what I want, and how can I get it from you? Sometimes people don't want to get their own. They want to steal it from someone, take the spotlight away.
Yeah.
And I think that the one thing that people need to understand is that we can all share it. I think there's room for all.
That's the big thing, is we can all share it, because we're all different people. We're all unique in our own way. You can do your thing and shine. I can do my thing and shine. We can be two lights shining side by side.
Light.
Or now's your time to shine. I step back. And now's my time to shine. You step back. It doesn't have to be.
Be happy for each other.
Yeah.
Be happy for each other. And it's like, and again, I don't mean to go back to this, but do you feel that this war in Ukraine has to do with jealousy? Do you think that this person wants what they can't have?
I would have to. I would have to say yes. I don't know the full history of Ukraine and Russia, but I would say anytime you go in and you commit, a war and you're killing civilians, then it becomes like a whole nother level. If you're in there to stop the military, the government, I understand that's what war, to capture the land, to make it part of your own.
Yeah.
It's not right, but you don't kill innocent civilians.
You don't do that.
You don't do that.
And it's and then bringing
5.4 million people fleeing from their country right now.
Think about it. I can't even. It doesn't even fit in my mind. 5.4 billion people.
Breaks my heart.
And there's how many in that power plant that they're bombarding?
Right.
There's children down there. I just can't. I can't even imagine. Oh, and I have an update.
Go ahead.
My friend is no longer in Lviv.
Oh, good. Okay.
He's in another place. He's out of Ukraine.
Good.
So to me, that I had a sigh of relief. At least I know he's alive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think I just had that little tension. Imagine people that have family there, and
absolutely. And for those of you who don't know who Liz is talking about, her friend, go back to our last episode and check out the beginning of that episode, because there's a whole explanation.
There's a whole explanation of that. And, this bringing it back around, right? What kind of war are we creating amongst ourselves? And maybe war is a heavy word, but what kind of animosity are we creating? Or what kind of division, like because of jealousy and because of egotism, people that were our friends or were our, beloved or whatever, no longer wants to be part of our life. They don't even want to be friends with us. They don't even want to be near us because of those connotations, egotism and jealousy.
Right.
So are you, write down below, write down in the chat, are you someone who's experienced jealousy from someone, egotism from someone, or have you been the one dishing that out? And what has been the outcome? Right. It's like that. But going on to nicer things, Marcos, how are you liking the weather? Or are we even having spring?
So yeah, no, everybody who's listening, we're in New York, and New York is sort of up and down. Today it's sunny outside, and it's still a little chilly, but we're reaching spring temperatures. We're in the beginning of May. We are actually in Mental Health Awareness Month, and coming up on our future episode, we're going to be interviewing a clinical psychologist, Dr. Mark Shane Tull, and we're going to be talking about his new book. So I want you guys to all tune in for that.
Ooh, yes.
Probably our next episode. So we're going to be talking about mental health awareness, and I think that's a huge topic we need to cover.
You know what, Marcos, and not to get ahead of that episode, but what do you think that everyone has dealt with some form of mental disparity, some form of mental condition?
I think so. And I think whether they know it or not, for sure. Especially at this point in our lives where we are in this pandemic. Yeah. There are a lot of factors happening right now in this world.
Wow. And I'm so glad that you have this guest coming forth, because there's so many tools that we can use, so many ways that we can help alleviate that kind of stress.
Right.
And know
just
that
in our
you're
daily
not
life.
alone. Yeah,
not
even
alone.
daily living, right? It doesn't have to be like a serious, something that we would consider super, humongous or serious in our life. It could be day-to-day living. That can cause that, and even the frustration. I heard something the other day about some people stay in a job because they need money, not because they're happy, but because they need money. Some people stay in relationships because, they don't want to be alone. So they stay in this negative bubble when they know they're not happy, and they know this is not the person that they would desire to be with, but they still stay.
They stay, yeah.
What causes you to stay in situations?
Right.
Is it desperation?
I don't know. It could be a lot of things. I mean, we need to do self-evaluation. I think that's a daily regimen for us. Yeah. We need to do that every day and see where we are. We need to do a mental health check-in with ourselves to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think that Marcos, I think that we should come prepared next one and bring 5 daily affirmations that we could just give out to the audience. And maybe they could apply this on a day-to-day. And something that you had said on one of our other shows is, have a check-in with the people in your life. How am I doing?
How am I doing? How are we doing?
Have them do the same. Yeah. How are we doing? I think I love that. I love
that's great, isn't it?
You pointed that out. It's so essential.
Yeah, it is.
That's so essential. You might think you're doing fantastic, You know, you might think you're there for the
Right.
person. You're showing love. You're showing respect. You're showing, you know, I value you, when you're really not.
Yeah, it's
So
important.
check-ins, daily check-ins with self, like Marco said, check-ins with the relationships that you have ongoing, work, you know, loved ones, you know, daily check-ins or
Right.
monthly check-ins.
And how can
or
you
bi-weekly.
lead a better life for yourself, you know, and doing that, because that's what this is all about.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's healthy living.
Healthy living.
You know, we don't know how long. We all know one thing for sure, and one thing is for sure, that we're all gonna die. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just like, that's a definite. I mean, I know
Right.
it's morbid, but we're all it's gonna happen.
We're all
Was it-
one day closer to the expiration date. And
One
what are
day
you
closer.
what are you doing with this time here? How are you
One
living
day
your best
closer.
life?
I
That's
mean,
what we're trying
look
to
at this
answer.
one. Look at this one. Winona Judd. Was it Winona? Yeah, Winona Judd. She passed away like 1 or
Yeah.
2 days ago. And her and her daughter, which they have a singing duet together, were supposed to receive an award today,
Right. The Judds.
like a lifetime achievement
Mhm.
or something award in music, and she's gone.
Gone. Yeah.
So, you know, this is what I say. I appreciate all of you that are watching us right now. I don't know you, but I appreciate you for being with us. You know, and I'm honored to be able to say I appreciate your viewership. You know, and I appreciate Marco's, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to say this tomorrow.
That's right.
I'm you know, I'm setting out into the universe. I'm going to be here tomorrow, you know, but we truly don't know.
We don't.
So,
We absolutely don't know. And how are you living your life the best you can every day? And that's what we get on here to talk about. We want to talk. We want to discuss issues with you and figure out how we can live our best life every single day.
yeah.
So guys, we want to thank you for all joining us for this episode of OneMicNite Talk. Please make sure you comment outside of the chat box here. Go to like underneath the show there, this episode, and leave us a comment about the show. We appreciate you. Ashley will be with us next time. You can find
Love you, Ashley.
Yep, we love Ashley. You can find Ashley at Ashley Elizabeth Green on IG. Make sure you slide into her DMs. Hit her up and let her know what you want to talk about. Or you can find her at Ashspired Living on Twitter. My name is Marcos Luis. You can find me at MarcosLuis on all social media. You can find the show at OneMicNite. OneMicNite is spelled OneMicNite. Go to the Facebook page. Drop us a line. Put your flyers on. Join the Facebook community. Hit the like button on there. And my lovely co-host.
I'm Liz Menezes. Name is spelled LizMenezes. Music. MUSIC. Find me on all digital platforms. Please go and listen to my music. It's downloadable on all digital platforms worldwide. If you enjoy it, let me know. Send me a message. And I think
She's on 3 of my playlists already, just so you know.
Oh my goodness. Please, if you like it, you know, that's the reason why I do music, is because I want to touch people's lives. And I want to hear how you feel about.
And you do. And you do.
I don't want from you, please. DM me.
There you go.
But I won't tell you where I am.
She won't tell you where she is. That's for sure.
No.
You guys, thank you for joining us for this episode. Please make sure you check out the audio podcast. You can show us love at anchor.fm/OneMicNite Talk. We love you.
We love you.
Out of here once again.
Ciao,
We'll see you next time.
ciao.
Bye.